Welcome back. We like to talk about all of the great things that are happening around central Iowa, and one of those is a beautiful quilt exhibit. We have Megan Barrett here. She's the museum director with the Iowa Quilt Museum down there in Winterset. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
She brought some beautiful examples with her today, and you've got some, it's exciting because right now there's lots of opportunity for people to go out and see all of the different quilts.
Right, absolutely. The Iowa Quilt Museum has been in Winterset for 3 years. We change exhibits 4 times a year, and right now our exhibit is Quilts of Valor Salute, and so we are featuring some Quilts of Valor like this. Quilts of Valor is a foundation that awards healing and comforting quilts to servicemen and women and veterans. And so right now we are featuring Quilts of Valor in our exhibit. But on Saturday we have this really fantastic event coming up called the Madison County Airing of the Quilts.
I love that, airing of the quilts.
Right.
So explain what this is, because there's a lot of fans of quilts, whether your
Absolutely.
grandparents created them, maybe you're passing on that tradition.
Yeah.
How can we get out and enjoy?
So with everything we do, we like to mix both the history of quilting and then the modern. You know, quilting is not a dead art form. It's happening still. It's very much alive. So we're mixing the tradition of Madison County with all our historical landmarks like the covered bridges. And so we have quilt displays all over our community. We will have over 20 unique displays in 15 different locations. And so we'll have quilts hanging in our covered bridges, in 5 of our local churches, in 3 historic homes. Businesses all over the community will be displaying quilts. People will be hanging them on their clotheslines and their porch rails. Our library, I mean, it's everywhere you go in Winterset, you'll be finding quilts. I'm trying to coin this phrase. It's a community-wide color fest of quilts.
Color fest of quilts.
Yeah.
As you can see very clearly,
Yes.
not only with the quilts you brought in on our desk this morning,
Yes.
but with these beautiful images that you're sharing
Right,
with us.
so you can see that photo there. We'll even have a car show with quilts displayed as well. Yes.
Oh, you will?
Yes.
A car show with
Yes.
quilts.
Classic cars, and they're all going to have quilts on their cars. So.
And they're
I
just
love
such,
that.
they're
Right.
such
That's
beautiful
the
works
inside of our
art.
museum. So that's our current display of the Quilts of Valor Salute.
Remind everybody where you're located.
We're located right on the town square in Winterset. It's just southwest of Des Moines. It took me 30 minutes to get here. So if you're in the metro, it's a really easy.
On the square, that's a great, there's all
Yes,
kinds
yes.
of great stuff
Yeah, right down
going
where it's
on
all
there the
happening.
time.
And what a great combination of mixing the historic bridges
Yeah.
with these quilts. But let's talk about the more modern take and what you're going to see. And yes, people are still quilting. And why is it important to keep talking about?
So we like to feature, with this airing of the quilts especially, we like to feature what's happening in quilting in Iowa.
Yeah.
So we're featuring quilters from Cedar Rapids, Mount Vernon, Iowa City, Grinnell, and of course our own community of Winterset. So this is one of the quilts that will be on display during the airing of the quilts. It's by Stephanie Brandenburg of Frond Design Studios in Cedar Rapids. And Frond actually produces their own fabric. It's the only place in Iowa that actually is a production of fabric. And they all start out as fine art paintings, and then they're designed into fabrics. And so they're fantastic, right? Isn't this just beautiful and lush and fantastic?
I love the fact that the fabrics are from paintings.
Yes.
I mean, all the way.
What are kind of some of the
Druids.
new modern takes? Like when I look at something that's a little bit closer to me that will be up for auction, just so you know,
right? Yes.
This beautiful bad boy could be in your home. When I look at this reminds me of something maybe my older generations put together, very traditional. What is making a quilt modern? Is it just younger people getting involved? Is it a new take on quilting? What makes it modern to this day?
Well, you know, there's some people who still like to do, you know, more of the traditional patterns, patchwork, and kind of update them with the fabric choices. You know, batik fabrics. You know, these great prints that you would not have seen, you know, back in Grandma's age. But there's all sorts of new techniques as well. But you like so many things. What's old is new again. You know, we're starting to see people who are getting into hand quilting again. But then machine quilting, there's so many things you can do because of the technology that we have available to us. So
I love
with
it.
the stitchery that.
I love it. There's to me, there's nothing
takes it to a whole nother level.
There's nothing more comforting to me than a quilt.
Yes,
I love that tradition is continuing on. Okay, so when is this all taking place? If people need to come out and see the visuals.
Yes, absolutely.
When's that happening?
This Saturday, the 27th, we'll have quilts on display in the community from 10 to 4.
Okay.
And so some of the quilt exhibits are open to the public, free of charge, like the covered bridges, our historic 1870s courthouse will have quilts all over it. And then there is an additional ticket, a $20 ticket will cover admission into the 5 churches, 3 historic homes, the Iowa Quilt Museum, our historic museum, and the upstairs gallery at our local quilt shop called Pieceworks Quilt Shop. So that $20 ticket gets you into 11 different locations.
So, and
Wonderful.
the quilt shop is located above the quilt museum, correct?
The quilt shop is separate. It's just down the street
Okay,
from us.
okay.
Yeah. So on our side of the square, we're kind of flanked by these two great quilt shops, Pieceworks, and then our Ben Franklin store is right next door to us, and they have a quilt shop inside the Ben Franklin store. And then the Ben Franklin store is just awesome because you don't see those very often.
And you have
Absolutely.
classes and things too that.
Yeah, not on Saturday, but we do have classes. We do a barn block painting class every once in a while, so people can paint their own plywood, barn block to put on the side of their garage or their barn if they've got one. So
Very nice.
Oh, great things
Yeah,
happening there. And
beautiful.
then the classic cars and the quilts, when is that taking place? On Saturday as well?
Yeah, that's all part of the display on Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep,
10 to
10 to
4.
4, all over the place. And then in
Love
the
it.
evening, we have this fundraising dinner and auction. This is one of the quilts over here by
Right.
Jackie that
You're
will be
showing
on
this
auction.
off. Yes.
Right? So tickets to that are still available. We'll have antique quilts, we'll have modern quilts, we have some other quilt-related things that will be up for auction, and all of that goes to support our work at the Iowa Quilt Museum. And our mission is to both promote the history of the American quilt, like I said, but we also like to bring attention to the public that quilting is alive and thriving, in ways like the Quilts of Valor Foundation. This is an awesome part of American culture and history, so we're just here to promote that.
And there's such appreciation for a
Yeah.
quilt that lives
Yeah.
beyond. And it's just like Jackie said, the weight of them and the story and who made it and
Yeah.
the different materials and patterns. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
So give us a website so we can get more details.
Yep, iowaquiltmuseum.org.
Okay.
Yep, we're right there. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well at Iowa Quilt Museum.
Love it.
All right.
All right. Go check it out. But definitely this
The
Saturday.
winter set's going to be very colorful
It's going to
this
be fantastic.
weekend.
Yes, do the sunshine dance for us. We want the rain to stay away.
Yeah, no rain on a quilt. That's not a
Yeah,
good combination.
Even if we do have some rain, there's plenty of indoor stuff. We'll have lots of quilts out. So
There you go. Megan,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Beautiful,
joining us
beautiful.
this
Good,
morning.
thank you.
Beautiful quilts. Take advantage and go see a beautiful town anyway down in Winterset happening this Saturday.